So it's been a little while since I put something out on the channel, but today we have two videos coming out on the same day. The other video is a repair of a Galaxy Invader 1000, something that I've repaired on the channel before, but that repair is a little bit more involved than the previous one. But this video is a little bit different. It's something that I've been looking to buy for a while, and by chance was gifted to the channel fairly recently, a new microscope. So if it's a repair you're after, maybe take a look at the other video, the trying to fix another Galaxy Invader 1000. But if you'd like to watch both videos, or maybe you're in the market for a new digital microscope, then maybe stick here and take a look as I take a look at the Joyalens Tri-Lens 7-inch JL246SM digital microscope. So I actually get invited to feature quite a few different things on my channel, but this is the first one that I've chosen to feature, and there's a reason for it. That's because actually I wanted a new microscope. This company, Joyalens, sent me the microscope for free, but I'm not getting paid to make the video, and any opinions in it are my own. Now, the reason I wanted a new microscope is the best diagnostic tool that I have are my eyes. And I've used a variety of tools over the years to help those visual inspections. Let's take a look at what those were. Okay, so the things that I used for that visual inspection started out using this, a jeweler's loupe or just a loupe. This one has two different magnification settings and an LED light. Wasn't terribly expensive, got it on Amazon I think, and actually these are really good. The disadvantage with these, or a couple of disadvantages, one, you have to get your eye very close to one side and the workpiece very close to the other. Which means that if you're trying to film a YouTube video, you see lots of pictures of the back of my head with a single camera setup like this, which isn't great. The second thing is, of course, that if you've got the piece in one hand and this in the other, then you have no hands free to do any work. So it's okay for fault finding, but it's not so good when you're actually trying to repair something. So to solve that problem, I bought myself this. And this has a number of detachable lenses. Obviously, it's a headband, number of detachable lenses, and I think you can double those up as well. It also has a little eyepiece if you want to do that super close-up work that I talked about. And this, the nice thing about this is a couple of nice things. One, you can use it with your existing glasses if you have reading glasses like I do. The other nice thing about it is that you have both hands free when you're wearing it. The problem is, of course, that again, when you're kind of trying to film from a single camera shot like I am, then you get a lot of images of the back of the head. And of course, it's still not a microscope, so the magnification is limited, but it's still pretty significant when you kind of stack those lenses up. So this is a definite upgrade from a loupe, but again, perhaps not perfect. So the next thing that I bought was this. This is a USB microscope. It wasn't terribly expensive. Again, I think I got it from Amazon. And this also has LED illumination at the front. Works pretty well. You plug it in via, there we go, a USB lead, and it's just demonstrated perhaps what is its biggest flaw. That is that once you've tethered it to a computer or something like that, it's so easy when you're working on something just to nudge the cable or knock it off balance. This cable is permanently fixed here, so I can't put a more flexible kind of cable on other than this kind of rigid PVC one that we have here. It is quite fussy on focal distance, so although it has been good for troubleshooting because I can kind of move it all over the workpiece and again look at the display on my computer monitor here, when it actually comes to working under it, it's quite difficult and it's easy just to kind of knock it. So I'd been chatting to my wife and I'd said, you know what, I really need to buy a new microscope. I cheaped out a little bit when I bought this. It's a handy tool, but it's not fulfilling my particular needs. And so I was about to actually purchase a new one. And then I got an email to my YouTube channel from this company, Joyalens, I think that's how it's pronounced, Joyalens Tri-Lens 7-inch LCD microscope. And they said, would you like to feature one of these on your channel in exchange for getting the microscope free? And I said, well, you know, I don't usually do that. Actually, on this occasion, I really do want a new microscope. So I took them up on their offer. I'm going to take a quick look at it today. So inside the box, we have a nice manual, which is printed in color, nicely illustrated, pretty comprehensive, and written in pretty good English. There's also a component list and print setup guide. Although some assembly is required, I think it's pretty straightforward, and perhaps you won't even need this, especially if you're the sort of person who might buy this kind of microscope. Inside the box we have the main display and camera assembly, and I must say at this point that everything seems to be very well packaged. And then in here we have some slides, probably won't be using those, and some tweezers, sample dish of some sort, a micro USB cable, and there's even a remote control, presumably for when you want to look at things close up from far away. Oh, a micro SD card. That's handy. I thought maybe I'd have to buy one of those, but it comes with one. That's a 32 gig micro SD card. That's handy. Cables. I have an HDMI cable, looks like, so that can do HDMI straight to the TV, which I have on my desk, which will also be useful. Another micro USB cable, this time with some buttons on. Maybe that's power and focus or something. It's actually power and light dimmer, and I thought at one point maybe the microscope wasn't working, but it was just that I hadn't pressed power on that cable. Also here we have a light box for lighting slides from behind, and the stand itself, which is pretty robust and comes in 3 pieces. So the microscope comes with 3 different lenses with different object viewing distances and presumably different levels of magnification. But I have chosen to use lens A because that is the one I think that's going to give me the most flexibility. It's got the largest object distance, and I think it's going to provide plenty of magnification for what I need. So now we have everything assembled, let's take a look at what it can do, and obviously here I have it connected to the TV via the HDMI cable. And I have to say that initial impressions are very good. It's a lot better actually than I expected it to be, and better than it appears on the camera. Of course, opinions are going to be somewhat objective, but for me, the display is very bright, very sharp, and I'm certain more than adequate for my needs. The buttons on the device provide access to functions like zoom and aspect ratio, and the button on the remote control provide access to additional features. I'm not sure that all of those features are available via the front display, so it's definitely worth keeping hold of that remote control. It's also worth mentioning here that the image, including the menu display, is much sharper than I'm able to capture on my camera. So with that in mind, let's take a look at some footage that was recorded on the microscope itself. And although I'll never again be able to hide how bad my soldering skills really are, I again am very happy with the microscope. But that's just about it for our Joyalens microscope. It was shipped to me by Joyalens from Amazon, so I'm assuming it's available there, and I'm sure on other popular websites too. There's also a 10-inch version, which I think is almost identical, but with a bigger display. But overall, I'm very happy with this. A massive thanks to Joyalens for sending it along to the channel for free, and an equally massive apology if I've mispronounced the name of the company throughout this video, and the not inconsiderable time between them sending the microscope and me having the time to make the video. So in conclusion, although I didn't buy this with my own money, I'm sure that if I had, I'd still be very happy with it. If you haven't done so already, maybe check out what is a more conventional video for me, the repair of the Galaxy Invader 1000, that came out at the same time as this video, and if you've really enjoyed what you've seen, maybe consider hitting the thumbs up and clicking subscribe. But until next time, I'd just like to thank you so much for watching Retro Tech Repair. Oops. And off we come with the lid.